time on these streets, and the people that had to back down at the end of the day were that government in there, not you folks here.
Because the National Union is now 400,000 strong, and is strong because of the work of our component unions and the work of our leaders and activists across the country. You know, as always, there are those that have more wealth and the power and the economic power that comes with that. But our magic solution is that unity is our power, and that's always stronger, always will be.
In 1979, I discovered that there was a thing called the union. You know, when we talk about unengaged members, I was one of those for 8 years. Got involved and met this man who had some sort of a position with what was then called SGEA, Saskatchewan Government Employees Association. I quickly got active in a number of places, and one of them was preparing for a general strike, which started on November 15th, 1979. When I first got active, I really didn't know who he was or what he was. I knew he was in the office next to the Regina Strike Coordinating Committee office. So he had to be like somebody because he had his own office. And he seemed to be very busy. We then went out on strike beginning November 15th. We were out for about 5 weeks. First general strike of a provincial public sector union anywhere in Canada that we've ever been able to determine. Over, at that point, about 12 or 15,000 members. So I got to know Larry a lot during that whole strike. I got to see him in action with the whole organization. I was there the day that the court order came down about ending our strike on December 17th. I should tell you, I regularly phoned Larry on December 17th and say, this is whatever, the 40th anniversary or the, 41st anniversary of the 79 strike, the ending of it. I think he's used to now me saying, oh, it's Barb leaving you a message. Do you know where you were today at 4 p.m.?
I think I first met Larry Brown in 1984 or 1985. Oop, that's dating both of us. When he was first elected Secretary-Treasurer of NUPGE, and I had a chance to watch him in action. He had, of course, defeated the BCGEU's candidate for Secretary-Treasurer, so we had to shift gears a bit and find out what we had in common, which turned out over the years to be quite a bit. Larry was very good at situating what the governments we were dealing with were taking from governments around the world, like those of Margaret Thatcher or Ronald Reagan or others that were introducing new economic and governance models that resulted in privatization and lessening of public services, a restraint, politics of scarcity that we together were able to successfully campaign against.
When I try to think of all the roles I've been involved in with Larry, it speaks to the large number of activities that Larry has been involved in. I've had him down to Boston many times to speak to the trade union program. I've worked with him on the great NUPGE Leadership Development School for, over 20 years. We've both been involved in the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives. And you know what? It's hard to imagine any really important progressive labor cause in Canada or the US or even sometimes Europe that I haven't run into Larry Brown.
Happy retirement!
Happy retirement!
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.
I first met Larry Brown quite a number of years ago, and he would not remember this, but he's been a champion of the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives. And my very first meeting with Larry Brown was actually over a Zoom meeting before Zooms were a thing, about 4 or 5 years ago now, maybe even 6 years ago, when I was on the CCPA Manitoba Steering Committee. And we had an important meeting with an important labor leader that day, and it was Larry Brown, to talk about how we can build and amplify the need for labor to be active and participatory in Manitoba with the CCPA. So Larry generously gave us his time and energy to walk us through some of the priorities, to walk us through some of the important arguments that we needed to make when speaking with labor leaders in Manitoba, to ensure that they understood the important contribution that the CCPA makes in terms of research and giving us the data and the details that we need to be effective when we're lobbying governments and when we're meeting with major employers.
Well, I worked with Larry from 1991 until 2015. Larry was there at the beginning when the shift really happened, when neoliberalism was on the ascendant, led politically by Reagan and Thatcher and guided by the Milton Friedmans and company. And so you had that happening, and then you had on the outside pushing, you had the Business Council on National Issues, that was the big business advocacy group. You had the Fraser Institute, you had C.D. Howe, and they were all kind of driving. And so there was a need for a counterweight, a counterforce, because there was none. There was no progressive research think tank. Labor movement was really under fire. It needed an allied organization. You know, we started discussing how CCPA was going to build and expand in the future. We came to two conclusions, Larry and I and other members on the board, and that was we needed to expand the individual membership base, and we need to branch out provincially. That was the time when I think the union movement really got behind and started bolstering the CCPA. And we owe him, you know, a huge debt of gratitude for the role that he played. I don't know that anybody else could have, in those days when we were building ourselves outward and upward, and he was indispensable.
Hi, Larry. Just wanted to wish you all the best in your well-deserved retirement. And on behalf of CUBGW members, I want to thank you for years of support, direction, dedication, and leadership to our union. You will be truly missed.
Larry, I'm having a tough time imagining NUPGE without you. I want to thank you for your friendship, your mentorship, and for all the times you opened doors and pushed me to walk through them. On behalf of Paul, Carrie, our provincial executive, and our 85,000 members, I wish you a long and happy retirement and enjoy every minute of it with your beautiful new grandchild. Happy retirement, Larry.
Congratulations, Larry, on your retirement and for your leadership over the past 3+ decades. Your commitment to the labor movement and to principles of fairness and justice has made a difference for working people everywhere. You have been our guest in PEI many times, speaking at convention, supporting our campaigns, and leading the fight against economic inequality. Thank you for your contribution not only to NUPGE, but to all Canadians, and for helping to make a better life for working people. You have always been a personal support to me, and I will always remember your help and encouragement when I took on the role as president of UPSI. I wish you all the best in your retirement, and I know you're going to enjoy your time with your new granddaughter. All the best, Larry. Happy retirement.
Freedom is a hard-won thing. You've got to work for it, fight for it, day and night for it, and every generation's got to win it again. Pass it on. Congratulations, Larry, on your retirement, and thank you very much for your lifelong commitment to the labor movement.
Larry, on behalf of the MGU and all our members across Manitoba, we want to wish you all the best in retirement. You've been a strong voice for public services, and we really appreciate that. We hope in retirement you can spend time with your grandchild and make time for the things you enjoy. Happy retirement, Larry.
Thank you so much, Larry, for what you've done for not only our national union, but for NSGEU. You were there for us through Bill 1 and all of the other fights that we've had with government over the years. But not only that, you want to advance diversity and inclusion by creating the Anti-Racism Committee, something that we're going to be able to carry on moving forward with our national union and the components. And you've also corralled us all together throughout this whole pandemic, getting us in meeting after meeting after meeting that we all really want to be at, and we all need it from one another. Your leadership really showed us where we needed to go as a national union, but also helped us as singular components within our provinces. We needed leadership like that throughout the pandemic, and we're sadly gonna miss you. So I wanna wish you the best. Thank you so much, Larry, for teaching me over these years, and I really look forward to hearing from you, having a great retirement, and I will be calling on you in the near future as well.
Larry, I want to wish you well in your next career as a retiree and a grandparent, and I want to take time to thank you for all of your work with us at the NSGEU and with our membership. Your attention to the women's issues and the national advisory that we participate in, the CHIPS program, and all the other campaigns. You have done your best to keep everyone involved and included, and I truly thank you for everything you've done on behalf of our membership. These past 2 years have been incredible. To have your leadership and to see you on Zoom meetings, sometimes weekly and sometimes more than once a week. It was great that you were able to connect us all on the issues that were important to all of us as we were facing extraordinary times. And I can't thank you enough. I wish you all the best.
Hi, Larry. Megan, I, and Archer are here with a little message for you. Megan.
Just wanted to say congratulations on such a lengthy career in the labor movement, Larry, and we wish you all the best and hope you enjoy your new grandchild.
Yeah, and Larry, first and foremost, on behalf of the leadership of NAPE, our membership, thank you very much. Always in your previous role as Secretary Treasurer or President, you've always been there for NAPE when we've called up on you. We've always enjoyed your counsel when we've needed that. I'm sure even in your retirement, if we need you, you will be there if we call up on you. I'm wishing you and Tish all the very best. I just want to relay, first impressions are always lasting. I remember I got elected president, coming into Ottawa and being welcomed by yourself and then James, and my wife was accompanying, and that was really impressive that we welcomed both of us into the NUPGE national family. So myself, again, Archer and Megan, want to wish you all the very best, and it's a pleasure to have you here in Newfoundland and Labrador as you retire.
Happy retirement.
Larry, we've known each other for 10 years now plus. And when I first started out here, I remember I needed the support of a national union and some steady hands to get us through some difficult times. And I thank you for that. And on behalf of all members of HSAA, 29,000 members on the front lines of healthcare, thank you for those days. I know that your passion to always fight for a better free trade agreement for our country supported all workers on the front lines. I know that income inequality meant something to you, and that you fought every single day to make lives better for everyone. Larry, in the battles that we face in Alberta today, it is your steady hand and your support that continue to push us to ensure that all of our members are protected. Larry, on behalf of HSAA, thank you for a generation of work in the labor movement I will never forget. Solidarity.
Hi, I'm JP Hornick, President of OPSU CEFPO. Larry, welcome to your retirement. You were one of the first people to reach out to me after I became president this spring, and I appreciate your advice and your kind words. Your wisdom and leadership as a national labor leader have helped guide our movement through years of challenges and austerity. For over 3 decades, you've been a thoughtful voice on how to make public services better. But you also have a sense of humor, which I appreciate as well. No one's likely to forget NUPGE's Unions F Yeah campaign. It was funny, it got folks' attention, and it made me sit up and pay attention to you too. I know you're still going to contribute to our movement in the future, and I wish you all the best in your next adventures and in all things to come.
Hi Larry, it's King. Although we've only known each other for a short time, I appreciate the mentorship that you've provided. For decades, you've been a great friend to HSABC and working people throughout the province. When we needed most, you were always there to stand up for us, and you've led our national union to stand united more than ever before. Congratulations on your retirement. I wish you all the best, and what could be better than having more time to spend with your new granddaughter?
Larry is just such a decent man. What I know about him is that he loves chocolate. He has an awesome pen collection, and he probably has circumnavigated the globe with his walking. He walks in any weather, and it really helps him think. It's kind of funny, when he used to be in kind of a situation where we couldn't see our way through a problem, he'd go for a walk, he'd come back, and he'd say, why don't we try this? It really did. Some people think in the shower. Larry thinks when he walks. It was really interesting because he had a curiosity. He wanted to tackle some issues that we hadn't really spent a lot of time working on. He was very creative like that. So we started working more on climate and environmental issues. We started working on diversity issues. We started working on issues related to youth. So there was a real kind of stretch there. And it was really exciting. It was exciting to be doing that. We worked together on our campaign, Unions Yeah, closely, the All Together Now campaign, and the second phase of that, Unions Yeah. And then we built the last convention together. And that was really interesting and fun. It was good work. It was a good convention. One of my proudest moments of working at the National Union was the principal position that the leadership at NUPGE, and both nationally and at the component level, took against rating. And Larry played a huge role in that work. And his work there really demonstrated his traits as a leader. That stands out for me. He doesn't blow things up. He's like a builder. He's not, he goes in and builds bridges. He makes connections. And I always say to people, Larry doesn't bully. He doesn't bluster. He doesn't bullshit. That's not who Larry Brown is. He is, quiet, strength, very thoughtful and deliberate. He's a problem solver. And that is a period of time where we were successful in making real and meaningful change at the Canadian Labour Congress. And a lot of that was down to Larry Brown.
I'm Rosa Pavanelli, the General Secretary of Public Services International, the global union federations that represent more than 700 trade unions of public services in 154 countries in the world. And NUPGE is one of the unions belonging to PSI. Larry has been really very much engaged in the definition of PSI global policies, the engagement of PSI in tax justice. He was a leader of the tax justice movement in Canada at the time. He pushed really hard to commit the entire global organization to the tax justice movement. PSI was already working on the issue, but since then, we have been able to develop a solid and strong theoretical background and initiatives, action capacity to mobilize people to lobby government and international institutions, and actually to make progress at global level. The creation of SICTAR that NUPGE contributed to create, that is the organization that prepared the research on the abuse of Rivera and tax abuse of Rivera. He contributed since the very beginning to PSI campaign against these plurilateral agreements that were meant to open the market of public services to free trade. We were all together in Washington to the US Parliament, lobbying the trade commissioners in order to stop TISA negotiations and to highlight once again the impact that such an agreement could have on accessibility of public services, which was somehow successful at the end because TISA was stopped. We will miss you in PSI for sure. We thank you very much, for your great contribution to the global policy of PSI, and I'm sure you will continue to support public service workers' rights.
Canada is a wealthy country. Coming out of COVID, Canada is a very wealthy country. The problem isn't that we can't afford things, the problem is that we don't tax the people with money enough that we can pay for public services.
Now, Saskatchewan has the reputation across the country of being the instigator of Medicare. And just as strongly, but in perhaps a more narrow segment of the population, Saskatchewan is the creator of occupational health.
Record windstorm, record heat wave, record floods. We all know that climate change is an issue. And we all know that it's going to affect every single one of our members. It's going to affect them on the job and it's going to affect them at home. And it has to be a union issue. We have to do our work in helping governments to confront climate change.